Okay, everybody, let me get things halfway set up here. I'm going to put you guys up here in the corner. So, this is Bob's new guitar. I just want to play it for a second. We are playing through our rack mount tube amp. You can hear it's a little out of tune. I didn't really tune it. It's got a good sound to it. So I am going to, this is 100% professional here, guys. So I need to take off my headphones, go over and turn off the rack, and then we'll get to going over setting up this guitar for Trucker Bob. Now, Linnell does have a microphone, so basically anything you guys say in the chat, she'll have to read and relay over to me. Got off the phone with Trucker Bob, and he wants to do D standard tuning. So I didn't really ask last night when we did the guitar giveaway, but usually on a lower tuning like that, 42 to 9s will flop around too much. So we did get a hold of Trucker Bob, and he's pulling his truck right now heading to Baltimore. We had talked, so we had decided to go to 46 to 10s. This is the only set of 46 to 10s I have, which are D'Addario XLs. These are nice strings. So we're going to put those on the guitar. I did look to see if I had a set of XLs or XSs, but all these are 42 to 9s. And all my Super Slinkies, believe it or not, are 42 to 9s. Now I do have a 11 to 48, or actually it's 11 to 52, but I'm sure he doesn't want that. So we're going to do these. So basically on the setup, we are going to do string by string. And this guitar, I assume, was originally set up for just standard E tuning. So while we do this, I am just going to lower the tune. And you can see I got a little fancy bracket now, because I kept dropping my tuner. And I had a cell phone holder that I used to use a long time ago on one of the stands. And believe it or not, that little clip, the squeezy clip, works great to hold the tuner. I do need to move it just a little bit more like this so I can read it and you guys can read it. So let me grab a pick here, and we're going to plug it in, and we are going to detune the guitar just to see about where it's at. So our first one, of course, will be D. And your string pressure is going to be pretty close. I'm not overly worried about getting it super close, just get it in the ballpark right now. This is also going to change the relief on the neck. So that's pretty close. Now I want to see what that actually did to the neck on the guitar. And that has put a little relief in the neck. So let's give it a quick adjustment. Something I've noticed with Fender, the tool is way back in there. Sometimes on these you actually have to take it out. And it's pretty far back in there. It's not wanting to cooperate. So that means the nut is right where those strings are. So let me loosen this one so I can get it in there. I don't really have any guitars set up to this tuning. Now I'm starting to wonder if I have the right tool. Might have grabbed the wrong tool right off the bench. It does look a little beefy. I may have to go downstairs, guys, and grab my tools. I'm not seeing the right. These are not marked. I knew better than to bring my other one up because, see, it acts like right there, but it's not there. Let me go downstairs and grab my other tools. Get the right tool to adjust this Allen wrench. And this is not a scheduled stream. I just figured since I was setting up a guitar, it would be kind of cool. You know, it's a Sunday stream, something we don't normally do. Kind of cool to maybe someone new on YouTube that hasn't seen the channel before can come in and kind of see what the channel's about. So let me go down and grab a tool and we'll get to adjusting this truss rod.
And the room goes silent.
I'm sure you guys have a shop or a place in your home that you work on things, and sometimes they end up getting a little unruly. That's what my basement looks like. And none of these are marked. I just grabbed the tray. Why is that not cooperating? I am going to switch. It is not cooperating. It's got to be this one. I've got that string all the way over. I'm going to loosen the other string. We have had issue after issue here lately. If you guys didn't see, we tried to put a tremolo in a Firefly the other day, and the insert posts, see, it acts like that small. And it ended up not cooperating. I swear it's this one, but it's not. It's not engaging. Okay, Fender, what size truss rod tool? Because it is not locking in. Anybody in the chat got a... See, that looks freaking huge. I know it's not this one. Yeah, I can feel it on that one, but it's not the right one. So I'm not going to force it. I thought one of these two were my Fender, but they're not working. No. Any suggestion in the chat, hon? This is, I believe, made in Mexico.
Well, according to Google, USA-made models typically use the 1/8 inch Allen wrench, while made in Mexico Fenders often require a 3/16 inch Allen wrench.
3/16. Here's my 3/16. At least that's what I thought it was. See, it goes in. So this is not my 3/16.
Oh,
I am gonna have to go locate the right tool, guys.
3/16 inch hex Allen.
Yeah, hex Allen. No. Well, guess what, guys? We may have to postpone until I can go locate my 3/16. Because I'm not having it right here. Just don't have it. Alright, well, what we can do is we can go ahead and get it close, and then I can locate that and adjust the truss ride after we. It's not bad. It's a little more than what I usually put on it.
What is this one?
No, that's pretty small. There should be in my bag in there, but I'm not going to be able to use those because they're not designed for this. That's okay. I know there's one downstairs on the bench. I just need to reorganize the shop. Let's check it again. So right now, I'm going to say it has about 0.6 to 0.7 millimeters of relief. Maybe 0.8. So if Trucker Bob, if you're watching, I don't know how much relief you actually like. It's not horrible. I've seen a lot more relief put in necks. Some people like a perfectly straight neck, some people don't. It's up to the individual. So here's our new strings. Let's just see. Now, granted, I know what people are going to say. You're putting different manufacturer strings on it. It's going to change this. And you're right, it will change it a little bit. But if you get it close, you won't be moving the saddle as much with the new strings on it. It's definitely sharp. So let's move the saddle. We'll make the adjustments as we go. Still sharp.
Trucker Bob says he likes it pretty flat.
Likes it pretty flat. All right. We're much closer. Still needs to move. All right, let's check our D12. That's going to be good enough until we actually put the real string on. So here's our G. G on the 12th. Yep, she's sharp across the board. And that's just from changing the tuning, guys. Let's get our G back up and going. That was a pretty good guess. We'll move on to our next string, our C. Like I said, I'm not trying to get it perfect because we're changing the strings. And our C needs to move. I'm pretty sure all of them are going to have to move. That's close enough for this set of strings because, like I said, we are changing the strings. We're just trying to get it as close as we can before we do that. Makes it a little easier on the new set. It's a little sharp. We'll go ahead and make an adjustment. I think I saw, Linnell told me there was a comment from Devastator saying it's stream week. We have done quite a few streams this week. It's all good. Remember, everybody that watches YouTube, they don't necessarily watch the same day, so it's good for the channel to do something on a day we normally don't do anything. The A is good. Let's check our D. Alright, that's going to be good enough for us because, like I said, we are changing the strings. So I haven't seen any conspiracy theories yet on why the spinner wheel liked Bob so much over the last few days. Uh, if you have any ideas why, I'm sure Devastator would like to know. It's too funny, actually.
Devastator said Tuesday was the only day there wasn't a stream this week.
Was it only Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
We did one Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
And yesterday?
We didn't do one on Friday.
Are you sure?
Did we do one on? Oh, we did do one on Friday because we did the test stream.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that. Well, I really hope YouTube doesn't expect us to do this every week. Because that would be crazy. You can hear the puppy dogs downstairs. Alright guys, we are going to have to take the cover off the back. I found on these fenders, the hole cut out is a little far that direction. And you can do it, but you end up fighting it a lot more than it's worth. So I usually just take them off. The string goes through the tremolo block. So some models it lines up perfect and you don't have an issue. This one here and the last Fender, I think it was the Fender Standard that we had that I changed strings on. I had the exact same issue with that guitar as well. That one I left the cover on and I was moving the bar down to get the string in. In this case, we're just going to take the cover off. Make it a little easier. And here's our string. And make sure you give it a tug. I had a Squire Stratocaster one time that fed through the block like that, and sometimes the little ball ends would get hung up, and you would think you were in tune, and all of a sudden it would go, and the ball would slip in the block. That was a long time ago.
Trucker Bob said, Grace of God, I'll say this. 3 months ago I committed all my metal to God. Promised I'd never play a song without Christ-based lyrics. Grace of God above.
Yeah, I have a good friend. He was a heck of a singer. His name was Sammy Campbell. And I was playing a lot of hair music back 30 years ago. And Sammy was really well known for playing gospel music. And Sammy used to always call me and say, you know, you need to come and play with me and do this here. And I just never did it. There was a place local to us, Fishnet, and I think that he was playing out at Fishnet. It was some other big thing that he was doing, and he asked me to learn some songs, and I never did it. I kind of regret that now. I wish I would have. It would have been, it would have been really good for me to get out and just play a different style. Maybe things would have been different. You know, we never really know how life affects us, if that makes sense, and what comes around and the things that we do. I will say this. When I was in high school, Sammy took a job, and he is the only person that I know still works the same job that he got when he was in high school. Um, I mean, he started sweeping the floors when he was 16. Let's just say now he runs the business. And he started sweeping floors. So he's the only person I can think of that has ever done that. He's only had one job his whole life. So um, it's astounding to me. If you guys can think of someone else that you know of that in high school, in 10th grade, took a job cleaning floors and is still in the exact same place. You know,
Devastator says he has a buddy like that, but still hates his job though.
yeah. I don't have any friend other than Sammy that can say that. You know, I don't know if Sammy watches our streams or not, or if he even knows that I do this. Um, he was one heck of a singer. He had a set of pipes, well, still has a set of pipes on him. And all he's ever sung is gospel. I'm pretty sure he had a couple songs that did really well on the chart, if I remember correctly, back in the day. But he never left his job. His number one thing was his job, and music was his secondary thing. He was focused about his job. Utmost respect for Sammy. Myself, I kind of floated around for a couple of years. In my trade, what's sad is if you come in as what they call a greenhorn, you can only go so far in the company because they view you as a beginner. You can learn and become get to be really good, but they still view you as a beginner. So the only way to really step up and make more money in the fields that I was doing was to leave and go to a different company and say, well, this is the amount of experience that I have. This is what I can do. This is my education. And that would bump you up. But the exact same thing would happen there. If you went in as a middle ground person, it was really hard to bump up. You pretty much had to leave and find something else to do to get that bump in pay. Might be time for a new set of these. If you look at my tool, on the very end it's getting little microchips. And they're very old, so I guess I really shouldn't say anything. They have definitely paid for themselves. So what string we need now? I think it's purple. Trucker Bob's going to get a guitar with brand new strings on it. So I don't know, on Discord, if you're not familiar, we do have a Discord channel. And since this guitar is done and the giveaway is complete, I guess the next conversation is what's going to be our next giveaway? Are we doing another guitar? Are we going to do... Now keep in mind, for what we paid for this, guys, we can do a modeling amp. It's definitely within the budget. You know, if you think about it, you can get a little Yamaha amp like that for $360. We can do something like that, or we can do a really nice stomp pedal. You could actually even maybe even get into a small digital effects processor unit. I've heard a lot of people talking about this, what is it, Area and some of these other, Vailton, I believe it's called. Maybe we should look into getting a Vailton on the channel and doing a free giveaway on something like that. I've never owned a unit like that. I know Digitech made a lot of the RP stuff. That was like a floor unit, multi-effects processor unit. At that time, I was still running rack stuff. There was really no point in me getting a little floor stomp unit because I had an X15, and my X15 controlled my rack. But I do remember the RP Digitech stuff being quite popular. And nowadays, it's just gotten a lot better. So I don't know if you guys have a suggestion on the next giveaway item. We might have went a little too far on the C. Yep. So I am going to make an adjustment, but the other ones seem to do pretty good. The point in doing what I did was to try to minimize how much shifting we're doing with the new strings.
You got a request to play some Franquito Lopez?
Guys, if you don't know, we didn't say anything, but we actually got our first, well, it's not a copyright strike, but we got our first, what we call it, certified email from YouTube, cease and desist. It really wasn't that bad. It was the night we were doing Freebird. Yeah, hammered. They said if I tried to monetize it, all the money would go to the people that had the rights to Freebird. Not just that section, but the whole video. Well, the video was 3 hours long. So it gave me the option to let YouTube automatically cut out the Freebird section. So we just elected to let YouTube cut out the Freebird section. Waited 3 days and then monetized. Because we don't... Now, you might get commercials during this one because it's not our regular live. I don't remember what I did on this one. But normally our live streams, I have commercials turned off. And then I wait for the live chat to come active to where people can see it. and then I turned monetizing the video on. But they said that I could not. If I did monetize it, all the money was going to go to the artist. So we let YouTube butcher the video. I haven't went back to look at it to see how bad they chopped the video up. But I let YouTube do it. That way there's no question on the spots in the video that they claim I broke community guidelines or whatever they want to call it. I just let YouTube do their thing, and if I really need to go back and look at it to see how much they actually chopped out. The reason I'm saying that is if you request a song, it's YouTube. It's just not worth it. And I had this conversation once before. I was like, if I was an artist, not that Freebird needs my little channel promoting it, but if I was an artist and I had a channel doing that, and someone didn't know the song, now, like I said, Freebird's not a good example of that. Everyone knows the song. But I don't think I would say anything because there's probably people out there that wouldn't know the song, and you might get that person turned on to that artist. I don't understand. It's not like we played the song. And if you were here that night, we didn't play the song. It was just a couple seconds of it. But it was enough for YouTube to say we could not monetize the video.
Devastator said I don't know if I'm going to say this right, the Valaton could be interesting, if nothing else, as a review.
Is that the Valaton? Maybe that's the exact same thing
Valaton.
that I just said.
I don't know how to pronounce some of this stuff.
It's VAL...
ETON.
Yeah. I thought about that too as well, Devastator. I don't know how much that unit is, but if that's something that you guys want to get, do a review on, and then do a giveaway on, let's get a post up in Discord and see what people say. See if that's something that the channel subscribers and members would actually like.
Do you like Jim Dent?
Do I like who?
Jim Dent.
Don't know if I know that person. A lot of artists, if that's an artist, a lot of times, guys, if I don't hear it, I may not even know who it is.
Guitar Bob said, do a guitar kit as a giveaway. They're so fun to build, and you can customize it to your liking.
I should probably put my headphones on so I can hear what she's saying. Now repeat that for me.
Guitar Bob said, do a guitar kit as a giveaway. They're so fun to build, and you can customize it to your liking.
That actually does make a lot of sense. I had heard that there was a company called Solo. I heard that the Solo stuff was pretty good stuff. If anyone has any experience with Solo.
Do you know who Jim Tompkins is?
I do not. Some people would say that I live in a shell. That's pretty good. My phone is going crazy today, guys.
How about Jim V. Lopez?
No. That's how narrow my listening experiences are.
Okay, how about Jim Manning?
That name sounds familiar. A lot of times, guys, if you played me the song, I would say, oh yeah, I know that. But just hearing the name, no. And I work with a lot of guys that play music all day, and I know the songs, but I don't know who the artists are. So I'm sure if it's popular, I'm sure I've heard it. I just didn't know who actually was the artist, if that makes sense. And that goes back to what I was saying. If you're learning guitar, sometimes, playing other artists' songs really does influence you. It really does. I know people say that it doesn't, but it does. So if you're learning it, that's cool. Just keep in mind it does influence you. And I see both sides. I see that it does teach you. Maybe that artist is doing something a little unusual, and it teaches you how to go from this chord or that chord or an unusual cadence or something like that. Believe it or not, subconsciously, you will pick up on that as you play. If you like something, subconsciously, you'll hear something in your head, and you may do the same cadence, okay? But it's going to be a little different because once it comes through your fingers and your brain, and it's not going to be like the artist and how they did it. But if you learn how they did it and you're trying to play it for note, eventually you're going to break into a lead, and that little cadence and note sequence will kind of filter down into your playing. It really will. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying if you're wanting to have a truly unique style, kind of keep to your own thing.
You just had a troll, so Devastator, timed out the troll.
Well, it's a Sunday. We've had them before. Linnell had to get on one time. I forget what they were doing.
Well,
And
this particular one, that was the names I was asking you. They were just constantly in all capital letters. Do you know? Do you know?
yeah, guys, I am a CNC programmer foremost, and an ex-musician. And I say that because I no longer play professionally. I no longer make money playing music. My time is gone, if that makes sense.
You have a Roadies Jam Cave. First time here.
Oh, thank you, sir. If you're not familiar with the channel, we Thursdays and Saturdays we have hangouts, and sometimes on Thursday nights we do guitar reviews. This particular guitar that I'm working on right now was a giveaway guitar. And there's a gentleman that's in the chat, Trucker Bob. He won this guitar. This is a brand new Fender player, and he gets it for free. So since he won it, I asked him what kind of a setup he wanted, and he said he wanted D standard tuning. So I am putting new strings on it and setting it up for D standard. All kinds of good stuff on the channel. This channel depends on you guys. I've said it many, many, many times. I'm just the facilitator. So I don't know everything, don't claim to know everything. I'm just here to share what I do know. I work on guitars at night. Been doing it for 30 some years. But I am not the best. There's always someone better out there. But I do share my knowledge with everyone so you can learn how to do this kind of thing for yourself. And a lot of guitar techs will get on me about that. But if you're willing to work on your own guitar, most likely you're not the person taking your guitar to a tech anyway. the people that use techs to work on their guitar, they're going to take it to a tech because that's just not them. They don't want to mess with it. They're going to take it to somebody and let the tech do it.
Okay,
I
Birdman, is that better?
Oh, what happened?
Birdman said that you need to turn me up a tad.
Uh,
So I scooted
turn.
the microphone a little closer.
Oh, okay. She's cheating. Yep, it's time for a new pair of snippies, guys. New pair of snippies are needed.
Devastator said I'm still kind of low.
Go ahead and talk, hon.
I'm gonna eat the microphone.
Yeah, she is, but guys, she doesn't like to be overly loud. She kind of gets on me if I turn her up too much. So give me 1 second. I'll push her just a little bit. Okay, hon, say something.
Can you hear me now?
Ooh, got a little reverb. All right.
Devastator said crank her to 11.
If I do that, she'll definitely be louder. Yeah, she's up in the yellow now, so she doesn't like to be really, really, really loud, guys. She's still acclimating to the joining in the chat and having her voice heard. It does take a little time. If you go back and watch my first video, it's actually kind of funny. I look like I'm all stiff, like wah 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 wah. I look like a robot that's someone put a steel plate on their back. It's funny how we change over time once we start getting used to a camera being in front of us. I think at that point, then you kind of get used to, you don't even think about the camera being there, to be honest with you. And a lot of that is this microphone right here, when I lean over, is right there. So I used to always be subconscious about what I said, how I looked. Now I don't let that bug me too much. I am who I am. If you can't tell, I do have a little bit of a southern accent. That's because I lived in the South for many, many years. And I'm not Superman. I don't know all, can't tell all. The only thing I can do is tell you the stories that I was involved in. You know, playing music and the things that I've learned working on guitars over the years. And I still learn. And yes, I do watch YouTube, just like you guys. No difference. I'm just happy I found this little bracket to hold my tuner. See that one stretching? So I'm going to back that one off. And we're going to go back up with it. Because that string is definitely stretching. I'd say that's pretty good on that one. Now I want to check the radius. First we want to just double check it. This is a 2-post bridge. So once we get the radius right, we can adjust side to side. Alright. And guess what, guys? I'm going to have to go back downstairs. Guarantee it. Yep, I'm going to have to go down and get my other tool. Just give me 1 second. I do know where that one is. Let me run downstairs and get that one. This tool here was quite expensive. It's very tight. And basically I'm using my stool back tool. I know that this is a 9.5 radius. And I'm using that to listen for the guitar to see if any of the strings ring out. And then I'm also looking at the saddle to make sure that they are set proper. And everyone's a little different on what they want. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what it should be for your liking. I'm getting it set up. Went a little too far on that one. I'm also looking at the saddle to make sure that it's not setting cantywampus on the bridge. That's the main reason that I like this tool. So this is your neck radius, and you can use this as an understring radius when you put it right on the neck. It is a really good cheater tool. So you put it under the strings, set it right here. And I'm checking for the ring out. It's really close. Now remember, this is a 2-point tremolo. So now we can adjust it this way. And you're going, well, you just set the saddles. All I've done is set the radius of the saddles. You still have these two screws here that you can raise and lower your action accordingly, and you can also twist it. But the arc of the strings is 9.5 inches plus this. So it's actually going to be like 9.65, something like that, to the bottom of the strings. I usually find that that works really well. And now, once we set our truss rod, all we really technically have to do is tune this to raise and lower our action height. But if you get it to where it just hits here, that's a pretty low action. Let's go ahead and tune it back up. So how many people here play in non-standard E? I will play E flat, D sharp. I have two guitars tuned to that. Don't have any guitars tuned to this. I should probably do one. That's pretty close. I guess now you guys want to hear it. We did turn the tube amplifier off, so give me a second to re-engage the tube amp. So I'm going to play it a little bit. I don't like doing too many adjustments at once. Let me re-engage the tube amp, guys. I had that channel muted.
Devastator said most of his are tuned to E standard. He does have a couple in D though.
A couple in D. All right, what did I do, guys? It should be working. Oh, let me see what I did. It says it's on. Oh, I turned the volume down. Sorry, guys. Now we got signal. Someday we will get more professional and I'll have foot switches. You know, everyone talks about as good as a Fender, as good as a Fender, as good as a Fender. Do I need to say it again?
Trucker Bob said, sounds fantastic.
You know, people, yeah, when you look at budget guitars, we Fender and Gibson, they've been making guitars a long time. You know, there's a reason why they're the staple. If you set them up right, I'm playing with the string tension. It feels loose to me. Let's go up to the Strat's magical position, number 4. Remember, it's a Strat, guys. Try to play Stratty stuff. Here's our second position. I think I like it. To be honest with you, Bob, with this low tuning, I don't think I would straighten the neck anymore. I think it's going to need that extra relief because of the soft tuning. It feels natural. I mean, you could probably take some of it out. It has enough space to where it still lets the notes ring out. You can hear it's not choking the notes. Remember, this is a 9.5 radius, so it's not a thrash guitar. Up to our fifth position. go down too low on a 9.5, what ends up happening, it'll start choking the notes. I do think it needs a slight correction.
Trucker Bob said, "You're the luthier, boss. Whatever you say goes."
I think we should take a little bit out of these two saddles right here. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. Okay, Trucker Bob's listening. What is your average neck radius on most of your guitars? This is 9.5. So I'm used to more of a 12. So as I play it, I have the arc set now to like 9.65, 9.7. So when I come off of my bends, I find myself hitting just a little bit. We can cheat that a little flatter to 10, and there's enough space here to where it's not fretting out. The reason I say that, if you're more used to a flatter radius, that's something that you can do here as long as it doesn't choke out the notes. I'll wait for him to. Oh, guys, guess what? We need to take a 5-minute recess. So we'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, Linnell hasn't been feeling well, so she had to make an emergency. She's been not doing good. She's had an upset tummy pretty much all morning. So, and it's funny, we had our normal breakfast. It's just sometimes we get like that. I guess it was about 2 weeks ago when we had that real cold spurt.
Yeah.
I was getting up in the morning. My nose was like running like a spigot. I had a headache, and then by 10 o'clock, it's 85 degrees. It I live in that zone where it doesn't get stupid cold here and it doesn't get stupid hot here. But our spring and falls, there's a large temperature rise, sometimes 30, 40 degrees. And there's always about a 2 or 3 week window, spring and fall. That's what it does. It's like, it's not that it's cold, it's not. It's just, it might have been 90 degrees the day before and you were outside working all day. And then at night, it drops down to 40. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then your body just goes crazy over it. What I'm going to do, Trucker Bob, and everyone knows here, the paying customer is always right. So, in your case, Bob, I don't know what to tell you. I thought that was funny. I didn't hear any laughs. I didn't even get a laugh from Linnell on that one, so okay, fine. This is why I program CNC machines. Being a comedian is not my forte.
I was reading.
She said she was reading. I thought it was funny. Everyone's like, Avery, don't. Your channel's too serious for that. So what I'm going to do now that the guitar is plugged into the amplifier, I want you to kind of hear. So I now have my 10-inch radius gauge. So here it's going to be 10 inches, and here it's going to be like 10.2. So to flatten it out a little bit, now our radius here is 9. So setting it this way, we're not going to get that much difference because we used the tool upwards, which was about 9.7. So what I want to do, since I have a gauge, before I just start eyeballing it and doing by feel, I want to put the gauge underneath. I want to kind of adjust the saddles. And you can hear those two strings are ringing out. Our B, our high E, our low E, and our A is not. So I'm going to leave it right there. We're going to grab our high-tech Allen tool. The Allen tool was made by Align, if anyone is curious. And yeah, when you look it up and you see how much this thing was, you're gonna think I need a head alignment. But when you buy a tool like this, it should last your lifetime. This was made in cooperation with MIP. You can also find it on the MIP.com. And I want to say it's about $30 for this tool. I've had it for about 15 years. It is a really nice tool. I have a 0.7, a 0.9, a 1.3, and some really kooky sizes. And they're the only manufacturer that makes those kooky, nice sizes. And that sounds about right, because now what we have to do, we just barely have to lower our A, and we have to barely lower our B. And just a fraction more on our A. And I'm literally only giving it just a little turn. And that is all dependent on the thread pitch. So if your guitar has a coarser thread pitch, it'll take less of a turn. If it has a more finer thread pitch, of course, it's going to take a little bit more of a turn. So let's plug it back in and retune it. Sorry about the buzz, but I do not have a kill switch for the amplifier. So each week we buy cables. So our next investment on cables is going to be a long MIDI cable, so I can plug in my X11 and have full MIDI control of the rack. Right now I do not. Alright. I do like this. This is going to be a keeper for our upcoming streams when we're working on stuff. I definitely like the tuner up on the bracket like that. Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Which tuner is that?
This is the Robo Stomp by Peterson. And when I bought this tuner, they were much more expensive than they are right now. This particular one is the Robo Stomp HD. They make a couple cheaper models. I can vouch for the HD. If you go back and watch these videos, we used to just stand it up here. It's falling off the table. It's falling off the bench downstairs on the concrete. It's had a pretty hard life, and it still keeps ticking. Another nice thing about the tuner, when you plug your power supply into it, it's able to transfer that power to this jack to supply power to another unit. So the power goes through the unit. So it acts as, it doesn't necessarily need to tie up one of your plugs. Let's say you're maxed out on your power supply for your pedal board. All you need is a jumper. So you plug this in, jump from this to the other pedal. So I do like that about it. And you can pre-program it by cents, okay? How many cents off you want each note. If you got any special tunings, you can program it. There's just a lot of stuff that tuner will do. I use about 2% of what it's capable of doing. I use it because it's just so accurate with the strobe. It's just a very accurate tuner. So we are using a rack mount tube amplifier. You really can't see it because I don't have any cameras pointing to it, but if you watch our live streams, it is a Synergy SYN2 rack mount module, and we are using the Friedman BEDLX module. That is going into an Applied Research Technology SGX 2000 Express. And on the effects loop, we have a 362 BBE Sonic Maximizer and an AMR PV tube sweetener. So we have no power amplifier or cabinet. I'm using a little pedal over here to simulate the amplifier in the cab. So I'm going to switch it just so we can get a different feel for a different cabinet. This is a supposed to be a vintage 34 412 cabinet. Let me turn it up a little bit. Sounds pretty good. I'm going to switch it to another cabinet. Let's switch it to a DR single 12 cabinet. Each IR changes the output, so I do have to make a little adjustment. I try to do that a lot, try to merge two different things together. You start out with something else and then try to change your cadence. There's only 12 notes, so if you pick something that's similar, there's always like songs like people go, I got some change in my pocket. It's just 12-bar blues. But the way they pick it and the way they play it, it makes it sound different. So merge the two things together and you'd be surprised. You can do like little medleys, stuff like that. And it's things that you don't think about. You already know the chord structure. So halfway through, try to make the change into something that has a similar chord structure. And it's really cool. Yeah, I think medleys are so cool, especially if you pick songs that flow well together. Second position. Let's cut our volume back a little bit. Great thing about a tube amp. don't think I would touch it, Bob. She's relaxing and settling in. Yeah, I would leave it where it is. I can hear just a little bit of difference in the sustain right here versus here. If you lower it any more than that, it's going to start really killing it. Yeah, I would leave it right there, Bob. I wouldn't take it down anymore. Like I said, it's a 9.5 radius, so this is not meant to be a shred guitar. Although people do shred on them, they just require a lot more talent than I have. Let's go back to our bridge position, and we're going to go to this is supposedly, when I looked it up online, supposed to be creambacks. That's what this hour is. So let's do my favorite little ditty and listen to how articulate it is. I think it plays good right there, buddy. Everybody's different. As you play the guitar, I'm sure you'll want to do more tweaks to it. I would leave it right there for right now. Let's double check our relief, because it is settling in. Yeah. This is why I say don't move your truss rod too much when you make changes. It settled back down to about 0.5, 0.6 millimeters of relief. So I would leave it be, let it acclimate to its new environment, Bob. Give it about 2 weeks, whether this is going to be in your truck or at your home. Give it about 2 weeks to acclimate, and if you do make a truss rod adjustment, don't give it more than like an eighth of a turn. Let it set for about a week. Let it get familiar with the house. Sometimes I've had guitars that took up to 6 months before they really settled in. It shouldn't take that long. That was probably my worst guitar. It was this purple polka dot and Kramer right here. I was actually starting to get worried about that guitar. I was chasing the neck on it so much. But after about 6 or 7 months, the guitar did settle in and it stabilized. Have no idea what this guitar is going to do. That's why I say small adjustments. That way you're not chasing it. If you adjust it too much, you come back 2 weeks later, then the strings are down on the frets and they're buzzing. Then you adjust it the other way, then 2 weeks later, now the strings are a mile high off the frets. Small adjustments. Hopefully you don't get rid of the guitar. Hopefully this will be something that you keep for a long, long time. It's Fender Strats are just that. They're Strats. Nothing sounds like a Strat other than a Strat. You know, people say sounds better than a Strat. There's a reason why they compare everything to a Fender Strat. And this is not a cheap Strat. This is one that if you want to in the future, you can put better pickups in it. You can do all kinds of things to this thing. Keep it Fender though. Believe it or not, Fender actually makes some really nice locking tuning keys. They make some, you know, pretty cool pickups. I don't mind the pickups in it. I think they sound like a Strat. I mean, that's what it is. I wouldn't change them. The only thing I would do to this guitar is maybe put some really nice Fender locking keys on it. And I don't really have an issue with these tuning keys. But I would keep it Fender. You know, I wouldn't put goth on it or anything else. The Fender locking keys are nice. I would just do that to it. So let's put your rear cover back on. We were all just talking about how things work, and I'm so glad you want it, Bob. And I'm pretty sure we were looking. You said that you had become a sub back when it was like maybe 20-some subscribers. I didn't realize that you had subbed that early. I thought it was more in the 200 or 300 range.
Are those Alnico 5s?
I believe it is an Alnico 5 pickup in it. I mean, this is a Fender player, so it's pretty easy to look up. It is 100% stock. None of the electronics have been changed in the guitar. It is brand new, other than the time that it's spent here. Well, the story behind this guitar is it was purchased, and Shenandoah Music has a guarantee. If you don't bond with the guitar, you can bring it back. So the gentleman just didn't bond with the guitar. He brought it back within 35 days, and they honored that, and the guitar sat in the back for, what'd they say, about 6 months?
I think so.
Something like 6 months. They don't like bringing too much out at one time, so if they have too many used instruments or too many other things on the floor, they don't bring it out. So technically, I don't know if you would consider this used or not, because he'd only had it a short amount of time. So guitars in the store probably get played more than this one ever did. There are no scratches or anything on it. It still has the plastic on the pick guard. So that was the story behind it. And we were able to come in and get the guitar for $500, including tax. And again, I want to thank Shenandoah Music for making that happen. This guitar, I believe, retailed for like $859, something like that. So it is definitely a nice Fender guitar. And this one is a made in Mexico. So you've already heard some people say the made in Mexico ones are the ones to own. So this is a made in Mexico guitar. I hear plenty of people say, I want a made in Mexico over the USA stuff. I don't know how much truth there is to that. I haven't played a made in Mexico Fender right next to a USA Fender, but there's a very large fan club on the made in Mexico Strats. And this one definitely plays nice. You know, I'm not used to such a 9.5 radius. I like a 12. On a compound radius, I do like a 10 to 14, because I think the 10 and the 9.5, it's so comfy down here playing the standard chords. But going down here and doing the leads, I kind of like a flatter fingerboard. So the 9.5 takes a little time to get used to, because it's 9.5 all the way down. All right, guys, I think that's going to just about do it for us today. Actually, I'm going to leave that plugged in because I don't have my headphones on, so I know for a fact that's going to make a lot of noise. I want to thank everyone for coming in. If you're not familiar with the channel, we do just what we did today. We do guitar setups, fret leveling. We sometimes do routing on guitars. We change pickups in guitars. We change electronics in guitars. And then what most people know us for are open and honest reviews on guitars. We don't let the manufacturer send anything to us. We're more than welcome to receive a guitar from a manufacturer, but we usually purchase our guitars. If not, Shenandoah Music in Winchester, Virginia will loan us an instrument for review, and we always say the truth. I don't really say too much about how I feel. I'll tell you whether or not I personally like it, but the reviews are more about the fit and the finish, how well the guitar is set up out of the box, and the general construction. Is the general construction of the guitar good? And then we go over the asking price. And then it's up to you, the viewer, whether or not you could take the pros and cons and you feel the instrument's worth that money. And then the chat section down below is always about people that purchased the guitar can go down and leave a comment. I bought the guitar and I had a different experience, or they had the same experience. And hopefully, as time goes by, that comment section fills up. Someone's thinking about purchasing it, they can go watch the video, read the comments, and it gives them good information. That's really what the channel's about. And we also have Discord. So you can go to Discord. There's always people working on guitars there and talking. There's live rooms there. People get on and chat and play. It's not every night, but it's usually every night someone's on there playing and chatting in the live chat rooms. So if you don't like, the microphone thing, you can just type, or you can get in one of the voice chats or the live recording rooms and hang out there. I want to thank everybody. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll see everyone Thursday night. We are reviewing a Jackson Crackle neck-through guitar. Loaded with Seymour Duncans and a Floyd Rose 1000. It's a sweet guitar, but we're going to take it apart. We're going to find out what makes that Jackson tick, and we're going to look at the asking price versus how it's made, and then you guys can be the judge whether or not the Jackson is worth that amount of money. All right, guys, thank you so much, and again, for Sunday, thanks so much for coming and joining us. Hopefully we saw some new people today, and they now know there's a new channel. All right, guys, thank you. And go to Discord. I'll be there for a little while until I have to put this in the bag and meet Trucker Bob. And yeah, we're going to take some pictures. So if you're not a member on Discord, you want to see Trucker Bob, you want to see me and see him get the guitar, we're taking pictures tonight. So it's permanent.
And see his chihuahuas.
Hey, that's it. He told us we got to take Chihuahua pictures. So get the Chihuahuas all prepped and ready and put their tuxedos on, make sure their toenails are all set up and going. We're going to get a family photo. All right, guys. See you on Thursday night. And go down and hit the like button for me. How many people were in there?